Hello there, Ray here, and today guys, I'll be showing you a very simple and easy to build piglin farm. And remember to share this video with other Minecrafters so they can learn about how to easily farm up piglins. And if you guys enjoy simple farms, I designed tons of these and I have an entire playlist showcasing them all, which you can find below. Piglins are a new mob that are introduced in 1.16. These guys are similar to like villagers, but these guys are a bit more rugged and you can find them here in the Crimson Forest. They can naturally spawn in and they'll spawn in anywhere where there's a light level of 11 or under. Now you can barter with these guys to get some really cool stuff like quartz, obsidian, as well as netherite tools. And if you would like to learn about all the trades that these guys offer, I went over them in the last video, which I'll link down below. And once a piglin is in the overworld, it will automatically be converted over into a zombified piglin in about 30 seconds. Once they convert over, you can see what they look like. They're given the nausea effect for about 10 seconds. And that's those particles you see coming off of him. Now the zombified piglin is exactly the same as a zombie pigman. They just changed the texture and changed the name. And when you kill these guys, they will drop the gold, just like the other guys. So you can convert piglins into a gold farm as well. So it don't matter if you want to collect a bunch of piglins just to do a bunch of bartering, or if you want to convert them over to gold, this farm is for you. You can see it is quite simple and easy to build up. We just have a platform here with a lot of spawning space, and then in the center we have a spot for them to go into, fall into, and then we have another portal which they'll walk into. And then from here you can decide if you want to kill them. Currently we have them being killed so that they get converted over into gold. You also get rotten flesh from it as well. Or you can save these guys as piglins, which I'll show you guys later in the video. Now the entire farm is built above the nether ceiling, and in the past I showed 5 easy ways to get on top of the nether ceiling, and you can find that video linked below. So you can easily get above this bedrock. Once you're up here, you can actually put another portal in and link it up with one in the overworld. And if you're wondering how you can do this efficiently, I have a separate video showing this cool trick that I discovered where you can link nether portals to above the bedrock. Now once you're up here, you just want to build this platform. It's a nice little square. You want to make sure to build this inside of the Crimson Forest biome. So that's one of the new biomes in the Nether update. This will mean that special mobs can spawn here, such as the piglins. You can also get hoglins to spawn in this biome, as well as zombified piglin. Now we can actually prevent the hoglins from spawning in this biome just by placing down these carpets. Because the hogling itself is quite large, if it collides with this carpet when it tries to spawn in, the game will actually not allow it to spawn in. So by making a little checker pattern with carpets every 2 blocks, there is never a 3x3 area which is necessary for the hogling to spawn in. And baby hoglings will also not spawn. And as long as light level is 11 or lower, we can get the piglins to spawn in as well as the zombified piglin. Now the way that we make all the piglins run over here to this area and fall into the nether portal is they're actually afraid of the new soul fire. This includes the soul torches and the soul lanterns. So back here we have 4 of them. So if any of them would spawn in back here, they would see these and they are afraid of them. So any torch within 8 blocks of them, they will notice, and then they'll try to walk 8 blocks in some other direction to get far away from it. So a piglin right here can try to see a place to go, and he can actually choose to walk this way. He can't really go this way because there is a fence. He could try to think about walking over into this platform, but to get to this little platform, he would have to walk over here, around here, and then get over here. And he actually thinks he can do this because we placed in a bunch of trapdoors here. And mobs think they can walk through trapdoor. So if these trapdoors were like open like this, you can see how a mob think he can walk through here, around here, and then back over onto this side. But by putting them like this, the mob will walk up here and try to walk over here. He'll try to actually jump. You'll see this. And instead of actually walking onto that block, he'll fall downwards because he can't hang up on it. That's how we get all the piglins to actually walk over here. Now we have a couple rows. We got torches back here. We also have a torch in the corner. Kind of scare them if they're in this corner. Try to get them out of there. And we also have another row right here. In case one would spawn like right here, he wouldn't be able to notice these torches back here. So these are a little bit closer, so he'll keep moving that direction. There's also, like I said, a chance of a zombified piglin spawning here. It's considerably lower than the piglins. Once in a while you get one. And the way that we attract these guys, since they're not scared of these blue torches, but they are attracted to turtle eggs. So we have one turtle egg over here, and just like the piglins, they think they can walk over here, hop on top of this trapdoors, and actually go over here to this turtle egg, and they love to try to step on it and break it. So they're going to try to get over there. Instead, they're going to fall down the same hole as the piglin. Now once a piglin or a zombified piglin fall down here, we kind of use the same type of mechanics. In this corner here we have a blue torch which a piglin can recognize, and he will try to run away from it, and he'll run into this nether portal. And the zombified piglin will try to walk right underneath of the turtle egg, which means it'll put him right inside of this portal. because they'll try to get close as possible to the egg. As soon as he touches the portal, they'll be teleported over into the other dimension. Now around the edge here, you kind of see we have some magma blocks and trapdoors. This is because very, very rarely can you get a zombified piglin that is a baby riding a chicken. And these guys, since they're riding an entity, they're unable to go through nether portals. So what we have here is a bunch of kind of slots which chickens can fit through, but baby piglins or zombified piglin are not able to fit through them. And since the chicken will be kind of sitting down here with the jockey riding it, it won't really know what to do, but eventually decide to walk and try to walk out here on the bedrock because I think it can walk through the trapdoors, and instead it will walk on top of the magma block and the chicken will die. And then the baby zombie will be able to walk over here and go into another portal. We also don't want these guys to spawn in any spot where we can't collect them. So we don't want them spawning on top of like this. That's why this is slabs. Everything else is slabbed around the outside and there's no other spot for them to spawn in. But these guys can spawn directly inside of this nether portal, which I've showed you guys in the underload farm, which is the fastest nether mob farm. So to prevent them from spawning in there, I just put a couple of torches in here to light it up high enough so that they won't spawn on those blocks. The farm itself is symmetrical with 4 of these platforms, all funneling them into the center. Notice how the blocks at this Y level are not solid blocks. That way we don't interrupt the mob spawning attempts outside of this area. Now once the piglins come over here, hop in and go over into the overworld side, we can take a look at that. We have a couple different things going on here. Piglins will convert over into a zombified version in about 30 seconds, so we have to try to get them out of this nether portal. Otherwise, when they convert, they'll be sent back over onto this side because they will change over from a piglin into a zombified one, meaning that they're a new mob and they can go back inside the nether portal. So to push them out, I have that really cool trick that I showed for easily pushing mobs out of nether portals, which is a minecart riding on a rail that has a boat riding it, and then riding that boat is 2 chickens or any 2 mobs, just to prevent other mobs from jumping into it. And this is kind of sweeping back and forth, and it will prevent mobs from getting stuck in these corners over here, and once they're over here, they will be able to get pushed out. I also put in some blue torches back here to try to scare them, but they don't really work that well once they're in the overworld. And I also put in some trapdoors here as well as a way for them to think that they could walk. So I think they could walk from the portal through the trapdoors and down here and into the rest of the land. So with the combination of all 3 of these, we got 100% success rate at getting the guys out of the portal, which was very difficult to do. But once they are out of the portal, they're just going to they're going to get pushed along these trapdoors and fall over here and have some cobwebs in here, which allows them to slowly move through it. And by the time they reach the bottom, they'll be converted from a piglin over into a zombified one. You can watch it happen right now. They go ahead and take some damage. Now they are a new mob, so they have to kind of re-damage themselves. All that damage that was done before as them being a piglin doesn't count, but eventually they will die from the wither roses and they will drop their loot, have a bunch of hoppers picking all up and putting it into this chest over here. Wither roses is really nice because they do a large amount of damage, but you can use anything in here to kill them. If you wanted to, you could just drop them to their death and also kill them if you don't want to get the wither roses. Getting the cobwebs isn't too difficult. You just need 2 iron ingots to make yourself shears to grab those. Now the reason why we have these cobble walls around here, because when the game converts a piglin over into a zombified one, it can place the second entity a little bit off-centered from the original one, meaning that he can be placed into the glass blocks on the side and then he could get pushed outwards. So cobble walls prevent them from getting pushed out here, otherwise there would be tons of them around here. Especially the baby ones are a lot harder to deal with. So sometimes they'll get pushed over to the corners. We won't get too many of them, just a couple might get stuck in the corners. Majority of them will die in here. Tried quite a few different things to simply get rid of these, but there's these little cracks in between the cobble walls, which they can kind of fit inside of and they won't be touching this block, so they won't get the wither effect. If you really wanted to kill these guys, you can put in some water streams, which all push them towards the center so they die. I also put some hoppers around here because since these walls are smaller than a block, items can land here and they won't get picked up by the hoppers underneath of here. You can switch those out with waters if you want to. Now if you want to use this as a gold farm and convert these guys and get their loot, this is about how much gold as well as rotten flesh you'll get in 1 hour. You will sometimes get chickens just because the jockey on top of the chicken will despawn and the chicken will be able to go through the portal and eventually die in here. Now to get this kind of set up here with the chickens inside of the boat, inside the minecart, so you'll need a boat, you also need some chicken eggs, and you'll need a minecart. Let's go ahead and get rid of these old guys. And then you just put it in the minecart here, put the boat beside it, and then you can ride the boat into it until it gets stuck. And then just keep throwing chicken eggs until you get chicken. And then you just throw them nearby and they'll get stuck in the boat. You can push them a little bit if they're not going in there. Just like that. And then you can go ahead and cover it up. So no mobs can walk over this direction. And then relight your portal and nothing should be able to get teleported. Otherwise, if you just have a boat here trying to push it through, the boat can get teleported by the portal, but as long as the boat's riding a minecart, it's unable to get teleported. In this version, there's currently a bug that piglins will not go inside of minecarts or boats. So if I go ahead and just try to put Piglin right beside his boat, he'll like go into it, then he'll immediately pop back out and be placed on top of it. So you can't leave this boat empty, otherwise they'll kind of clip into it and then they'll be able to escape out this side. Now to run this farm, what you have is the AFK spot quite high. So 120 blocks above this platform is where the AFK spot is at. This is at Y level 255, so we're at the very top of the world. This allows it so that any mobs that are underneath of the bedrock ceiling will despawn, and they change it so that piglins as well as hoglins will also be able to despawn. So now the only thing that should be spawning underneath of us is the stuff inside of our farm. And if we quickly hop down, we should be able to see some of the guys running around. Yeah, there they are. So you can see how they work. They run around until they think they could walk this direction, and they'll eventually run over here and hop down this hole. Sometimes they run into these corners, but they eventually will run over here. The mob cap never really gets full. It stays around about 30. So if you wanted to, you could make a couple of these platforms if you want to get more piglins. Because the mob cap is 70, so as long as it's below the mob cap, it's fine to make more spawning platforms. And most likely probably won't be using this as a gold farm, because you can just go after zombified piglins if you want to get a lot of gold. And you can still make sure that zombified ones only spawn by placing down magma blocks, and then none of the new mobs will spawn on top of it. So you don't have to worry about your gold farms breaking. Now if you want to keep the piglin as actual mob, you can do that as well. The only problem is if you try to move the mob over into the overworld, we've seen how they get converted over into the zombified version. And if you keep them in the nether, they're essentially going to just build up and hold up the mob cap, preventing other mobs from spawning. As I showed you guys in a recent trick video, you can send these guys over into the end dimension. So what you want to do is find a stronghold and then make another portal beside it. And when you go into the nether dimension, you want to make sure that the biome that is at that location is a crimson forest. And there's a total of 128 different strongholds and end portals and entrance end portals in one single world. So you have a lot of options to check if you can't find one on your first go. So you just want to build your nether portal on top of one of these entrance end portals. And it can already be lit, it doesn't matter. And put in your Eyes of Ender. Once it's lit, it's good to go. All your mobs will end up on the obsidian platform, which is right here. So I'm going to go ahead and give this thing a try. All the piglins will be spawning up here. And then they're going to go into the nether portal. Now we go in there with them. And see how they get pushed over here into the end portal. So they are shaking in the overworld. Once they go to the end dimension, they are no longer shaking. So they're safe here, just like they're safe in the nether dimension. And you can move these guys to wherever. And this is where you can do all your bartering rather than having to do it in the nether dimension. Or if you want to do any kind of experiments with these guys, you have plenty of room here. Now we did design this farm during our Snapshot stream. Big thanks everyone who came and joined us and helped build this up. It was a lot of fun to mess around with these guys and try to figure out a way to trick them into going over into the overworld. Make sure you guys turn on your notifications as well as ring the bell. That way you guys are informed and when those streams start. I'll also announce it on my Twitter as well as the ProTech Community Discord. If you haven't joined our Discord, hop on, say hello. That is where we kind of do all our chatting to do with new ideas in the snapshots and stuff like that. We also designed a simple hoglin farm, which I'll be making a video about very shortly as well. And if you'd like to see more 1.16 farms, I listed a bunch of them down in the description. Remember guys to leave the video a like as well as share with other Minecrafters so they can learn how to easily farm up piglins. And I'd like to thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.